In this world, full of judgment and contempt, true strength lies in the ability to rise above. As Nietzsche said, if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss begins to gaze back into you. It is important to learn not only to survive, but also to turn insults and criticism into fuel for your own growth. We will talk about how to gain resilience in the face of others' opinions and why the only thing that truly matters is the respect you give yourself. So let's begin. Contempt is not an anomaly. It is the shadow cast by the light of your strength. It clings to those who dare to rise above mediocrity, who have the audacity to carve their own path through the wilderness of existence. Understand, this contempt is not born from reason, but from fear. Fear of the unknown, the uncontrollable, the unbreakable. It is the sneer of those who see in you what they have refused to see in themselves. To be strong is to invite judgment. Your presence, alone, challenges the fragile worldviews of the masses, their brittle structures of comfort and conformity. They will call you arrogant, reckless, unworthy, not because you are these things, but because you remind them of their own cowardice. Do not resist contempt. Absorb it. Let it pass through you and burn away any lingering doubts about your purpose. The world has always scorned those who refuse to kneel to its false gods, who decline the safety of silence. Socrates drank the hemlock. Zarathustra descended from the mountains only to be mocked, yet their spirits remain untamed, immortal. Contempt is not your enemy, it is your crucible. Those who despise you are unwitting alchemists, attempting to break you, but instead refining your will into something indomitable. Do not stoop to answer them, for their words are not the measure of your worth. Stand taller still. Let their scorn fall upon a figure too vast, too resolute to be diminished. You are not here to please, you are here to transcend, and in doing so, you will render their contempt meaningless, for the winds of greatness scatter all lesser things into dust. Disrespect is not the wound you imagine it to be. It is the trembling reflection of your strength, distorted by the fragile eyes of those who cannot bear to see it. When others deny your value, mock your choices, or diminish your presence, understand that it is not you they attack, but the freedom you embody, a freedom they fear because it reveals the chains they have willingly fastened around their own souls. Your individuality, your refusal to conform, is a silent rebellion against the mediocrity that comforts them. They cloak their fear in disdain, seeking to shatter the mirror you hold before them, for it shows them a truth they cannot unsee, that they too could be free, but have chosen not to be. Their disrespect is the cry of a spirit caged by its own cowardice, lashing out at the one who dares to soar. Do not seek their approval. It is a currency of the weak, traded in the shadows of dependency. Their scorn is proof that you have disrupted their fragile equilibrium, that your existence has stirred a storm in the stagnant waters of their complacency. This is your power, not the power to control them, but to force them to confront the unspoken abyss within themselves. Stand firm in the face of their dismissal. Let their derision wash over you, for it is the voice of a world that does not yet understand what it means to be alive. You are the embodiment of the untamed, the unapologetic, the unbroken. Each sneer, each whisper, each cold glance is a testament to your ability to shake the unshakable, to unsettle the settled. You are not a reflection of their judgment. They are a reflection of your defiance. And when you grasp this, their disrespect loses its sting, transforming instead into a badge of your triumph over the ordinary. For to walk your path is to know that strength will always provoke, and the unchained will always terrify the tethered. Silence before disrespect is not submission. It is the unshakable stillness of the mountain that watches storms rage below it. To remain silent is not to concede. It is to refuse the game entirely. It is the declaration that their words, their Venom, their attempts to fracture your spirit are too small to reach the vastness of your being. The weak believe that silence is emptiness, but they are wrong. Silence is a reservoir of power, a force that speaks without words. In silence, you do not surrender to their insults, you transcend them. You show them that their noise cannot disturb the calm ocean of your mind, that their attempts to provoke crumble against the fortress of your inner self. To answer disrespect with silence is to wield the ultimate strength, the strength to withhold. Words are weapons, but silence is an impenetrable shield. When you do not respond, you deny them the satisfaction of their struggle. They seek to pull you into their chaos, to make you dance to the tune of their insecurities. Your silence is the refusal to be drawn into their smallness. Do not mistake silence for passivity. It is the loudest defiance. It is the strength of one who does not need to justify their existence to the unworthy. It is the quiet roar of self-mastery, the proclamation that you are beholden to no one's judgment. The world may rage, sneer, and demand your reaction, but when you remain still, you hold the reins of the encounter. In silence, you are untouchable. In silence, you are infinite. And as they grasp for your attention, desperate to bring you down to their level, they will realize that there is nothing more devastating than a response that never comes. Silence is not just an answer, it is a verdict. It declares that their words are weightless, their disrespect futile, and their power over you non-existent. Contempt is not the curse it appears to be. It is a gift wrapped in thorns, a fire that can burn or illuminate depending on the hands that wield it. When others pour their disdain upon you, they unknowingly offer you a rare and potent resource, the raw energy of their attention, their fear, their envy. To grow, you must not recoil from this energy, but harness it, transform it, and let it propel you forward. Understand this. Those who despise you reveal more about themselves than about you. Their contempt is a reflection of their unease with your existence, with your refusal to conform, with the way your presence disrupts their shallow certainties. In their mockery, they lay bare their own limits. And here lies your opportunity to take the weight of their scorn and forge it into the wings of your ascent. Growth is never born from comfort. It is the spark struck by friction, the transformation that emerges from struggle. Contempt is that struggle. It is the resistance that sharpens your resolve, the friction that polishes your identity until it gleams with undeniable brilliance. Let their negativity be your whetstone, grinding away your doubts and fears, leaving only the unbreakable essence of who you are. To use their contempt as fuel, you must rise above their intentions. Do not meet fire with fire, for that only reduces you to their level. Instead, let their scorn ignite your ambition, your vision, your determination. Let it remind you of why you stand apart, why you choose the harder path, why you refuse to vanish into the faceless crowd. You are not here to be loved by all. You are here to grow, to rise, to transcend. And as you transform their contempt into your strength, you will find that the very forces meant to destroy you become the pillars of your triumph. Let their disdain be the proof of your impact, and let your growth be the silence that shatters their noise. Words are fleeting. They evaporate like dew under the sun, leaving no trace but echoes in empty halls. Actions, however, are eternal. They carve themselves into the fabric of the world, unyielding and undeniable. When confronted with disrespect, let your deeds speak for you, for they will echo louder and longer than any words ever could. The weak argue, they explain, they beg to be understood. They waste their breath on those who have already chosen not to listen. But you must rise above this pettiness. Your life must become your argument, your achievements the irrefutable proof of your worth. Those who disrespect you seek to drag you into their realm of noise and futility, but you must not descend. Show them instead the silence of unrelenting action, the kind that cannot be ignored, dismissed, or undone. In this world, respect is not given. It is earned through the relentless pursuit of excellence. Build, create, conquer. Each step forward, each victory, each unyielding moment of progress is a stone laid in the monument of your legacy. Let the doubters watch as you rise, their scorn drowned beneath the weight of your accomplishments. They may deny your words, but they cannot deny the reality you shape with your hands, your mind, your will. To act is to reclaim your power. It is to say, without saying, that their opinion holds no sway over you. You do not argue with the storm, you walk through it. You do not plead with the mountain, you climb it. And in the end, you stand atop it, not because you sought to silence your detractors, but because you refuse to let them stop you. Your actions are your truth. They are your answer. Let them see it. Let them feel it. And as you move forward, unstoppable and unyielding, their words will wither in the shadow of the world you have created. Contempt and envy, they are siblings born of the same weakness, yet their masks deceive even the sharpest eyes. To mistake one for the other is to misread the battlefield of human nature. Contempt wears the guise of superiority, a sneer cloaked in false confidence. Envy, however, is a quieter poison. It slithers beneath the surface, veiled in criticism, disguised as disdain. But do not be fooled. Envy is the true shadow that follows those who dare to rise. When they mock you, when they dismiss your achievements or belittle your dreams, pause and look deeper. Contempt is loud and careless, a blunt weapon wielded by those secure in their mediocrity. But envy is precise, calculated. It seeks not to confront, but to undermine. It does not roar. It whispers, planting seeds of doubt in your mind, hoping you will falter and fall. The envious do not hate you for your flaws. They resent you for your strengths. Their scorn is not born from disdain for what you are, but from the agony of what they are not. They see in you the reflection of their own unfulfilled potential, and it burns them like a mirror held too close to the sun. Their so-called contempt is a mask, a desperate attempt to hide the longing that gnaws at their spirit. How do you discern it? Look at their eyes. Contempt glances once and turns away, disinterested. But envy lingers, watching, waiting, studying every move. Contempt seeks to crush. Envy seeks to emulate, even as it denies the desire to do so. And when you see this, when you recognize the envy that hides behind the veil of their words, you will understand that their derision is not your wound, but their confession. Do not let envy deceive you into doubt. Let it confirm your impact. For envy does not follow the mediocre, it shadows the extraordinary, and when you learn to recognize it, you will no longer be angered by their words or wounded by their actions. Instead, you will see envy for what it is, a silent acknowledgement of your ascent and their unwillingness to climb. The world is a storm, ever churning, ever restless. It screams for your attention, pulls at your will, and demands your surrender to its chaos. But within you lies a sanctuary, a fortress untouched by the winds of the outside. This is your inner world, your unshakable core. To strengthen it is not merely to survive the storm, it is to transcend it, to become the calm eye at its center, unyielding, untouchable. Your inner peace is not given, it is forged. It is the result of deliberate effort, the hard-won prize of those who choose to master themselves rather than be mastered by the world. To cultivate it is to declare that your essence is not a product of external forces, but a creation of your own will. It is to anchor yourself so deeply in your truth that no wave, no tempest, no chaos can dislodge you. Do not seek peace in the fleeting comforts of the world, for they will betray you. The applause of the crowd, the approval of the masses, these are sands that shift and disappear underfoot. True peace is found in the quiet depths of your being, in the stillness that remains when all else has been stripped away. Strengthen this stillness as you would sharpen a blade, not with passivity but with purpose. When the world demands your reaction, offer it your silence. When it seeks to provoke, offer it your restraint. These are not signs of weakness, but of supreme control, for the one who controls themselves controls all else. The chaos outside is powerless against the fortress of a disciplined mind, a spirit that refuses to be swayed by the noise. Your inner peace is your greatest power. It is the still flame that burns even in the darkest night, the unwavering compass that guides you through the most tangled labyrinths. Strengthen it, guard it, and let it shine, and as the world rages on, you will find that the storm loses its fury when it cannot touch the calm that resides within you. This is not escape. It is mastery. It is freedom. It is the triumph of the self over the chaos of the many. Revenge is the pursuit of the small. It ties you to the very thing you despise, binds you to the chains of the past, and reduces you to the level of those who wronged you. To seek revenge is to drink from a poisoned chalice, believing it will harm your enemy while it corrodes your soul. It is a fire that consumes not only its target, but also its wielder, leaving nothing behind but ashes. Greatness, however, is a pursuit of the infinite. It is the path of those who refuse to be defined by the actions of others. To rise above revenge is not to forget or forgive, it is to transcend. It is to say, "You are not worthy of dictating my path. My energy belongs to my ascent, not to your destruction." Revenge is a reaction. Greatness is a creation. One binds you to the pettiness of the world, the other sets you free to shape it. When you forsake revenge, you reclaim your power. You sever the thread that ties you to those who sought to harm you and redirect it toward your own evolution. The time you would spend plotting their downfall becomes the time you spend building your empire. The energy you would waste on their destruction becomes the fuel for your triumph. And in this you achieve what they fear most, not their end, but your rise. Revenge is fleeting. Greatness is eternal. The satisfaction of seeing another fall pales in comparison to the fulfillment of seeing yourself soar. To strive for revenge is to remain in the shadow of your enemies. To strive for greatness is to cast a shadow so vast that they are lost within it. Your greatest revenge is not their suffering, but your success, a success so undeniable, so unshakable, that it renders their existence irrelevant. You are not here to settle scores. You are here to transcend them. Leave the petty battles to those who are content with mediocrity. Your focus must remain on the horizon, on the heights that call to you. And as you climb, the echoes of your greatness will drown out the whispers of vengeance, leaving you with something far more powerful than retribution: freedom. In the world where contempt is often flung like mud, there is a weapon far more refined, more potent than the blunt force of anger or the weight of silence. It is the subtle art of irony, the ability to turn the scorn of others against them with nothing but a smile and a well-timed word. It is the weapon of those who know that true power does not lie in confrontation, but in the clever dismantling of the falsehoods that others cling to. Contempt often seeks to wound, to diminish, to crush. But irony dances around it. It does not engage with the mud. It elevates the conversation to a place where the mud itself becomes irrelevant. When others seek to attack your value, your spirit, you don't meet them with defense. No, you meet them with wit, sharp, cutting, and swift. You turn their contempt into a joke, their sneers into a spectacle. And in this, you do more than disarm them. You expose their weakness. Humor is the refuge of the strong, the serene. Only those who are secure in their own greatness can afford to laugh at those who would try to diminish them. It is the kind of laughter that does not seek to harm, but to reveal the frailty of the one who dares to mock. To use irony is to show that you are above their petty games, that their disdain is like the wind against a mountain, powerless, insignificant. Do not waste your energy on anger, for it only feeds the chaos. Use sarcasm, irony, and humor to paint the world in a different light, a light where the ridiculousness of those who would scorn you is laid bare for all to see. Their attempts to degrade you will become the very backdrop to your brilliance, and as they fumble in their ignorance, you will stand unscathed, your wit and wisdom cutting through the veil of their contempt. Irony is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. It is the laughter of the one who knows their value so deeply that no insult can shake them. It is the brilliance of the mind that turns derision into art and transforms scorn into a spectacle. So when they seek to harm you, laugh. Laugh not to mock them, but to show that their contempt has no place in the world you inhabit. Do not let others' words become your reality. The words of others are like shadows, flickering, transient, and ultimately powerless, unless you give them form. And yet so many allow these fleeting whispers to carve the very shape of their existence. They allow the opinions, judgments, and criticisms of others to become the lens through which they view themselves. This is the great tragedy. To let someone else's perception of you define your reality, but you are the master of your own vision. You must guard your mind as a fortress, impenetrable to the poison of external voices. There is no greater act of rebellion than to refuse to allow another's words to bind you. The opinions of others are not truths. They are distortions, reflections of their own fears, insecurities, and limitations. To internalize them is to surrender the power of your own perception, to replace your own truth with a lie. What is the antidote to this venom? It is the unwavering confidence in your own voice, the understanding that only your judgment matters. The world may cast its opinions upon you, but they are like rain falling on a mountain, destined to roll off, unable to leave a mark. You must learn to hear the clamor of voices without letting them touch your essence. They are nothing but noise, distractions from the path you have chosen. Resilience begins in the mind. When you encounter criticism, when you hear the voices that seek to diminish you, do not react. Do not allow them to enter your consciousness and take root. Instead, let them pass like the wind. Their words are reflections of the limitations of others, not the truth of who you are. You must learn to protect your inner world by cultivating an unshakable belief in your own reality. Your reality is forged by your actions, your thoughts, your will. It is not the sum of others' judgments, but the expression of your own self. The moment you allow external opinions to penetrate your consciousness, you dilute your own strength. You become a puppet, dancing to the strings of those who have no understanding of your journey. So, protect your mind. Fortify it with the knowledge that the only truth that matters is the one you create through your own experience. The noise will come, but it need not shape you. Your reality is yours to command, and to let another's words define it is to surrender your very essence. Stand firm in your own truth, and let the world's opinions fall silent before the strength of your conviction. Respect yourself, even when the world does not. In a world where the opinions of others are often as fickle as the wind, one truth remains unshaken. The greatest weapon you possess is the respect you give yourself. To navigate through contempt, to rise above the disdain of the world, you must first anchor yourself in an unyielding belief in your own worth. The world may not always honor you, may not always see your value, but that does not diminish the truth of your existence. The contempt of others is but a shadow, faint and fleeting, yet your self-respect is the light that casts it away. When the world refuses to acknowledge your greatness, when it belittles your efforts, your strength lies not in seeking validation from others, but in solidifying your own belief in who you are. Respect is not something to be demanded from those who do not understand you. It is something to be cultivated from within. It is the quiet certainty that you are worthy, regardless of the noise, regardless of the judgments that surround you. To respect yourself is to step into your power. It is the refusal to shrink, to bow before the expectations and narrow perspectives of those who cannot see beyond their own limitations. The world will always try to impose its judgments upon you, but you must never bend to them. Self-respect is the shield that protects you from the poison of others' contempt. It is the force that allows you to stand tall, unshaken, even when the world seeks to knock you down. When you respect yourself, you no longer seek approval or validation from those who cannot understand your journey. You do not need the world's recognition to know your own worth. This is the foundation of true freedom, to rely not on the fleeting opinions of others, but on the unwavering belief in your own value. This inner strength is not fragile, it is unbreakable. So when the world refuses to honor you, do not falter. Stand firm in your self-respect. Let it be the foundation upon which you build, the shield that guards you, and the force that propels you forward. For in the end, it is not the world's opinion that defines you. It is the respect you grant yourself, the unshakable faith in your own worth that will carry you beyond the reach of all contempt. Become more than your offenders can imagine. Contempt is the weapon of the small, the petty, the weak. They seek to shrink you, to contain you within the narrow confines of their judgment, to make you small enough to be controlled. But here lies the true power. You need not be confined by their vision, for you are not what they see. You are something greater, something beyond the reach of their limited perspective. To expand beyond the grasp of their contempt is to cast off the chains of their expectations and limitations. When you grow in influence, in power, in potential, you become something that cannot be touched by their disdain. Their contempt crumbles in the face of your greatness. It is a concept that can no longer hold weight, for you have transcended it. The small-minded may seek to tear you down, but the more you rise, the more you become a force that they cannot comprehend. They cannot touch you, for you exist on a plane they cannot reach, cannot even begin to imagine. Your expansion does not simply silence their contempt, it renders it irrelevant. Your reach becomes so vast, your influence so undeniable, that their petty attempts to diminish you are like whispers against a roaring storm. To become more than they can fathom is to become untouchable. When you outgrow their expectations, when you push beyond the boundaries they have set for you, their contempt begins to fade into the background. They cannot harm what they cannot grasp. They cannot wound what they cannot define. This is the ultimate victory, to be so much more than your offenders ever thought possible that their contempt is no longer a weapon, but a sign of their own impotence. When you grow beyond their understanding, their judgment loses its power. You are not a subject to their opinions. You are the force that shapes the world around you. And in that moment, all their contempt becomes nothing more than the sound of an echo fading into silence. As you walk this path of self-mastery, remember, those who seek to diminish you are but shadows against the brilliance of your light. Stand tall, expand beyond their vision, and let no one's contempt define you. Your respect for yourself is the foundation of your greatness, and in your rise, their judgments will fade into nothingness. May you always find strength in your own truth, and may you become the force that shapes the world beyond the reach of any scorn. Rise, not in defiance, but in the quiet certainty of your own worth.